your rights and responsibilities. In Canada, foreign workers have the same rights and responsibilities as Canadian workers. Your employer cannot treat you differently because you are a temporary foreign worker. For example, Canadian employers are not allowed to pay you less only because you are a foreign worker. They cannot ask you to work overtime for the regular hour's wage. You have the right to refuse dangerous work. Legally, you are in exactly the same position as domestic workers. Foreign workers are protected under federal and provincial or territorial labor laws. If you believe your employer is not treating you fairly, or your employer is not paying you the wage they agreed to pay when their LMIA was approved, or employer is not ensuring healthy and safe workplace for you, or employer is asking you to give them your passport or work permit, you can contact your local employment or labor standards office and ask for advice on what to do in your situation. You do not need your employer's permission to contact Labor Standards Office. List of all provincial labor standards offices can be found in the PDF file which you downloaded along with the video files. For example, in the province of British Columbia, such an office is called Employment Standards Branch. On this page, you can find their contact information. Canadian immigration officials might be able to provide you with an open work permit in situations where you can prove that you have been abused or treated unfairly by your Canadian employer. If you get hurt at work, you may qualify for some benefits through the Provincial Workers' Compensation Program. If you lose your job due to shortage of work, you may qualify for employment insurance benefits. Such benefits are available both to domestic and foreign workers in Canada. Federal and provincial labor laws protect all workers and employers by setting hours of work, minimum wage levels, health and safety standards, parental leave, and annual paid vacations. Both employers and foreign workers must follow the rules set out in the labor law in the province where they operate or work. If you and your employer have signed an employment contract, you also must abide by the clauses of the signed contract. However, you have to know that your employer is not allowed to put in the contract any clauses which would be in violation of the prevailing labor laws in the province or federal labor laws. For example, your employer cannot ask you to sign a contract if the wage offered in the contract is below provincial minimum wage. As a foreign worker, you also have responsibilities to respect terms and conditions of your work permit, follow safe work procedures, and act safely in the workplace at all times, use safety equipment, devices, etc. that are provided by the employer and are intended to protect the employees. Report workplace hazards and dangers to the supervisor or employer. Not remove or make ineffective any protective device or equipment required by the employer or by the regulations. Never work under the influence of alcohol, drugs, or any other substance, or if you are overly tired. Get treatment quickly should an injury happen on the job, and tell the healthcare provider that the injury is work-related.